everyone, I'm Spandana and I lead the product marketing efforts for the Agent Platform here at Kore.ai. Welcome to today's session, Architecting Purpose-Built Agentic Systems Tailored to Your Business and Stack. Over the next few minutes, we'll explore why enterprises can't rely only on one-off-the-shelf AI tools if they want to scale with confidence, and what it really takes to design agentic systems that fit seamlessly into your workflows, processes, and technology stacks. And I'm delighted to be joined by Santosh today. Santosh is a technology leader with over a decade of experience working directly with some of the world's largest organizations. He's been at the forefront of guiding enterprises in their AI journey. And today, he will take us deeper into the product perspective, showing you how purpose built agentic systems can help scale AI efforts and generate measurable value for your organization. And here's what we'll cover today. We'll start with the generative AI paradox, the gap between the promise and the real impact of generative AI. And then we will look at how organizations can design agentic systems around business objectives and why they should design. And next, we will discuss the role of enterprise architecture, why the various layers of your enterprise stack are critical to a sustainable agentic design. We will then look at what AI agents look like in production. And finally, we'll show you how to enable purpose-built agentic systems that scale reliably across the enterprise. Let's dive right in. Over the past 18 months, we've seen an explosive adoption of generative AI across enterprises. And McKinsey reports that nearly 80% of these companies are experimenting with generative AI, but despite the hype, most of them are still struggling to generate any meaningful business value from it. And that's exactly what agentic AI is expected to change. And that will happen by enabling systems that don't just generate content, but drive decisions, trigger actions, and deliver outcomes across your enterprise stack. While the promise of tangible business impact is what drives most companies to explore agentic AI, what that impact looks like can vary widely from one organization to another. For some, it could be about driving efficiency, while for others, it could be about reducing costs, differentiating themselves from the competition, or just faster decision making. And that objective is what fundamentally shapes how your agentic systems should be designed. Take productivity, for instance. That calls for collaborative agents designed to work alongside humans, integrate into daily tools, and accelerate task execution. If your goal is cost reduction, you're likely to look at focused single purpose AI agents. They'd be built for high volume repetitive processes where automation can drive clear ROI for your organization. And organizations prioritizing innovation will need flexible, composable agents that are embedded directly into products or services to showcase clear differentiation. And if your priority is faster decision making, it's about designing real time, context aware agents capable of ingesting data, reasoning, and acting with speed and precision. So while the promise of impact is universal, the path to value is not. So far, we've looked at how business objectives shape what agentic AI should do, but that's only half the picture. The other half is defined by what your systems can actually support. Even the best designed agents won't succeed if they can't connect to enterprise applications, access the right data, or operate within governance and security policies. You can't build resilient agentic systems on shaky foundations. That's why you should design and deploy agentic AI. This will depend heavily on the layers of your existing tech and AI stack. That's exactly what Santosh will cover next. Over to you, Santosh.
Thank you, Spandana. I'm Santosh. I lead the product management for Core and I'm currently leading the product development for Kore.ai Agent Platform. So, what we now look at is understand the existing technology infrastructure that enterprises have, because over a period, enterprises would have built different layers of infrastructure to make sure that they are adopting best of the technology advancements. And then we'll try to understand how this tech stack can coexist with the building blocks that are required for building agentic applications. When you look at your own tech stack, these are the different layers that you would come across. At the bottom is your infrastructure layer. This is where most of your hardware infrastructure is coming into play. Whether you're managing it on premise or you're using a hyperscaler, you would have had most of this infrastructure already available in place. The second layer is the model stack. Um, In the pre-generative AI, many enterprises used machine learning algorithms or machine learning models. They used to exist here, but this is the layer where models would come in and play a role. There are two different ways that you can think of models. One, you are using models that are hosted elsewhere, either a commercial model or an open source model, but hosted elsewhere. Or you might be deploying or hosting especially small language models or fine-tuned models within your infrastructure. So that's where this layer comes into play. The next one, and the most important one, is the data layer. Now, data had always been very, very important for successful enterprise stack. That's where all of the ETL pipelines came into play. That's where the data lakes came into play. But with the generative AI applications, as we all know, managing the enterprise context in the agent's context is the right thing to do, without which the models will not be able to understand who you are, what is your brand, what do you stand for, what are your products and services, and the outlook that you would like to present to your customers. Even when using retrieval augmented generation, having the right context retrieved from your enterprise knowledge base plays an important role. The next step is the integrations, where your enterprise application is working with different other SaaS apps or any other custom workflows that you have built. So the way you exchange the data with them has been fundamentally changed because of the tool calling capability of the agent. The classic API based integration is probably still valid in some cases, but in many of your cases, you can start switching to a MCP protocol, where the interface between the AI agents and the backend systems is a lot more streamlined to make sure that you have the right amount of context coming into your agent's interface. The security the security layer is again very, very important. The In addition to all of the traditional security concerns around compliance, auditability, explainability, we also have new layers added to it, in terms of having the guardrails in place. Now, the guardrails typically can be part of the qualitative assessment of how well the models are working, but in this context it is also about the safety guardrails in things like prompt injection, where you're making sure that your enterprise applications are safeguarded from any attacks from the external world. The last is the interface, is where how customers or employees reach out to you. In case of customer service, how do they discover your brand, how do they initiate a conversation, how do they ask for a follow-up. Similarly, it's for employee experience, like how do they set up their workspace, how do they interact with your business applications. So this channel layer or the interface layer is becoming very, very important. As we all know, like, there has to be a purpose built UI built for AI. This is where we are investing heavily. But you might already have something in place. Some channels, you like, for example, many of our customers use Teams and Slack for employee experience. But when it comes to customer service, they do have the voice interface. Some people have a chatbot on their website or within embedded within their mobile application. So the interfaces could be many, but this interface layer is also going to be transformed with the generative AI applications. So these are the six layers of technology stack that you might already have in some form and shape. All of these will be impacted or disrupted with when you start adopting the generative AI applications. Now, in an ideal world, all of us would expect that we already have something in place. When AI agent comes into play, it will magically start generating helpful insights, and also the output would be easily be consumed. But in reality, the complex nature of your existing systems, the workflows, the dependencies of data between one system and another system, and where there are various other business rules that you've already created, it makes it extremely complex for AI agent to have any reasonable understanding of what your data is and what is the task that it has to perform. Now, because of this, the outcome from the AI agent is not something that you can easily consume. You still need to write a lot of additional post processing to really make any sense of the output of the agent work. But that's not the whole point of implementing agentic AI, because you would not get the results that you anticipated at the beginning of your journey. Now, this is exactly what Gartner has also started predicting, saying that more than 40% of the projects in the generative AI slash agentic AI will be cancelled. Now, the reasons could be many. One of the common reasons could be the original intention with which people start off the project is not realized. Again, within that, there could be too many sub reasons. Uh, as simple as the original uh, assumption of some data is no longer valid because you don't have the right data in place. You assume the model to be of, like, say, 95% accuracy for the task that you're doing, but you are never able to move more than 70. Or you do not have the right talent who can take the generative AI applications to production. The reasons could be any, but this is what Gartner is saying, and that's what we hear from many of our customers. And we have also seen some of them going back on their initial POCs as well. Now, another interesting study that has come up a couple of weeks back from MIT is like kind of follow up to this one, I believe, is while many of the projects will get cancelled, what they say is the rate of success would be extremely high if enterprises start using a purpose-built AI application as opposed to assembling or building everything by themselves. So there are again many reasons why this is really really true. Is one, the purpose-built AI platforms would have taken care of basic requirements like scalability, security, deployment, and they would have also already have pre-built integrations, a marketplace of agents, or different patterns of orchestration. So your teams do not have to worry about building these base elements, but rather they can simply focus on the business outcomes as opposed to really figuring out how to build the generative AI platform as such. So the 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 previous slide where we see the difference between the expectation versus reality, followed by the research from Gartner and the research from MIT, definitely tell us that it is extremely important for enterprises to consider purpose built AI applications to make sure that they have the right outcomes of the generative AI initiatives. Now, the purpose built applications would not only help you have all of these building blocks ready, but they would have already figured out, or they will provide you a path in the future saying that, hey, this is what the state of the AI industry is today, but you need to have the ability to explore what is going to come in the future, which means you need to have a platform that is extensible. At the same time, you also need to be interoperable with the other integrations in the ecosystem. Now, this is where the Kore.ai agent platform comes into play. There are three. Okay, before I go in, so one of the things I want to clarify is in this webinar, we are not covering the list of features that we have. I mean, we obviously have best of the features available in our platform. And recently, Gartner has rated as leader in the generative AI application for customer service. Now, what we are trying to do is instead of presenting the list of features, but what we would try and say is what are the qualities that you need to look for in an enterprise AI application. The first one is open standards. The platform that you choose should be able to allow you to connect to any model of your choice, any integration of your choice. So, which means it has to be open in terms of how it interacts with the other system. The second point in the building blocks that we said was the ability to have the extensibility. Now, many of the platforms, including our platform, provides low code no code interface. The idea behind the low code interface is making the AI agent development democratized, so that not just the developers but business analysts, business users, product teams should be able to build their own AI agents easily. The second is having a wide range of templates available. For example, the Kore.ai marketplace has 200 plus pre-built agents across different use cases that you could simply browse, test, and install for yourself, and you can extend them. And integration with all of your backend systems should be available with different layers of authorizations. In some cases, you might need a admin token to integrate, but in some other cases, you might need a end user token to authenticate. So depending on your needs, you need to have all of these capabilities. Now, all of this is available, but again, like we discussed in the beginning, AI teams are making a lot of research and they would like to experiment every day in to understand how are the new models working, how are the new frameworks working, how are the new protocols working. So that's where the extensibility comes into play. So with Code Platform, in addition to all of these pre-built tools that are available for you, you could also extend the capabilities. For example, the platform today offers supervisor pattern, delegation pattern, network pattern, and many others. But if you would like to create your own custom orchestration pattern for specific needs that you have, there has to be a way to create that pattern without depending on, for example, the vendor releasing a new version of the product. You should be able to do it by yourself. Second, uh, one of the popular agents pattern that people deploy is React patterns. But again, we all know the limitations of the React pattern. You need it doesn't come pre-built with like a retrieval as a pre-processor to it, or there's no post processing on the response. You still need to build all of these building blocks before an AI agent can become production ready. So while the platforms provide pre-built agents and the builder to build, but if you need a custom way of building an AI agent that has multiple layers to it, where it can decompose a task, like branch of the different tool calls to get different information. And if you have dependencies in how tools are invoked, for example, tool 1 and 2 can be invoked in parallel, but tool 3 should always be sequential. So if you want your AI agent to adhere all of it, and if you're building a custom AI agent, you need that flexibility to extend the capabilities. Tools again is extremely important. I mean, at least in many of our implementations, while it is easy to understand how to define the orchestration, how to define the agents, because it is all greenfield, people are uh, free to experiment. When you interact with your existing business applications, changing how the third party business applications work is not something that is completely within your control, right? So you need to have a middleware where you are able to transform the payload, like a very basic transformation of the payload, or you should be able to orchestrate different API calls before hitting the final API. So all of those capabilities are also required. Now with agent platform, what we also include is our agent SDK. That's where developers can extend the platform's pre-built capability in terms of customizing orchestration, customizing the agent definition, or building custom purpose-built integration tools. So the both have to coexist together. The pre-built way of doing it, low code no code builder to democratize the AI agent development, but at the same time you should have creativity and the ability to and the liberty to extend the platform capabilities without waiting on the vendor to release newer versions of the platforms. So that's the second building block. The third one is the interoperability. Now the agent platform, these are the basic building blocks: the marketplace, integrations, agent SDK. Using all of it in the agent builder, you can create your own custom agents and you can deploy those agents. Now the beauty of the way agents gets deployed is we support the A2A protocol out of the box, so that even if you have some agents existing outside of your ecosystem, like say you experiment with LangGraph, Crew, Autogen, if those agents are already in production, you can continue to consume those agents, and Core can act as the overall orchestration engine. That's the first side of the other side of it is integrating with your existing business applications. And the agents built on Core are fully compliant with the MCP, and any new updates we automatically take it. So when you integrate with these systems, you need a predictable way of discovering the tools, making the tool calls, getting the responses, and also ability to parse the responses before they are given to the AI agents. That's the second dimension. And the third one is most important and evolving topic is all of the hyperscalers, like we discussed, are coming with infrastructure to deploy the AI workloads. So the agents deployed or agents created on Core platform, we can run them in your own infrastructure. But if you would like us to transform that as, like say, agents running in Agent Core, that's possible. Similarly, if you want to deploy them on Azure Foundry using the Foundry definition language, that's also possible. Similarly, we're also working with Google product teams to understand how we can have interoperability there. So these are the three dimensions that you have to be aware of in terms of the uh, connecting to external agents, using enterprise applications, all using the standardized protocols, and also having interoperable agent runtime. Now, so we have looked at the three basic pillars, like the openness of the platform, the ability to extend the platform, and the ability to interoperate with the other infrastructure that you have already built. Now, how do you make sure that you are future proofing your enterprise investments into the agent platform? The first one is uh, we are a our product is a 11 or 10-year-old product, has been built by our experience in working with large enterprises across different domains. So all of your enterprise needs with respect to data governance, authorization, security, compliance are already taken care as part of the platform. So these are all already available for you. You do not have to worry about any of it. Second one is, because we were going through the journey right from the classic models, then moving to the machine learning models for classification based, then the embedding model, then the generative AI models. The platform has been continuously been pivoting and transforming. So the architecture itself allows you to change as you move forward. That's where we are able to provide an agent SDK as well, so that you can also extend the platform's capabilities. And it's interoperable by design. All We were always a cloud agnostic company. We do have live implementations across all of the popular cloud providers, and we also have on-premise deployments running at production at scale, with running hundreds of millions of conversations every year. With that fundamental block that we already built, now we are able to extend it to use protocols like A2A and MCP to coexist with the ecosystem. In terms of scaling, some of the largest deployments of AI applications are already running our platform. So one of the largest financial institutions in the North America, which has more than 300 million interactions every day, is already been production on our platform for the past 2 to 3 years. So in terms of scale, the infrastructure is already proven, the platform capability is already proven. So you don't again have to reinvent the wheel of how do you scale for volumes when you start using AI applications. The scale is not only in terms of the volumes of interaction that we do, but it also includes the complexity associated with the understanding of the user input, integrating with different systems, complexity of the orchestration, etc. The finally future proofing, to make sure that you are not completely tied to the ecosystem. Like we discussed in the previous slide, we are open to connect to any model. Pretty much every possible model out there can be connected, and you can also, for example, if you have a model that you like on Hugging Face, you could bring that model into the platform, or you can directly connect to that model as well. We are enterprise system agnostic, more than 200 pre-built integrations available, but if you would like to create your own integration, you could do that as well. We're cloud agnostic, and we also support on-premise. We're channel agnostic, we have our own voice gateway, or you want to interact with any existing contact center, we could do that. And we can also deploy on Teams, Slack, and Copilot as well. So in terms of where you want to deploy your agent, you get the full flexibility on that. So these are all the reasons why we make sure that your investments are future proof with agentic applications.